All right, so I just want to thank Casey Cohen for videotaping this. We only get the first 21 and a half minutes of the game because my camera stopped functioning, basically. Um, I have things fixed, so we'll be able to hopefully videotape as many games as we can this season. And I think this will help everybody, really, in every single way. For you all to really see the way I coach and hear what I say, even though you may not be able to be on the sidelines of very many games. And also for the players to be able to watch this and get a much better understanding for what they need to work on. So I think spacing is going to be one of the big things we'll work on this season. I mean, pretty much for large portions of this game, you can, draw out a 30 by 40 box and you can put everyone in it, except the goalkeepers. Like right now, it's so congested, and I think it's difficult for a team like us who we're good players and we want to pass the ball to each other, but we still need a little bit of space to do it. And there's just so many times in this, 20 minutes of footage you'll see where because we're too close to each other and we're too close to the opponents, we really struggle to connect and be able to make something happen. When we get into wide areas like this, we are actually able to create some better chances, and we win the ball back from the other team a lot better. So it's a twofer. Try and get the ball into space. Space tends to be wide. If you're there, it's easier to win it back. It's less dangerous if you lose it. And I think we can be really creative out here, just like that. And this is where our goals essentially come from in this game, is going from one side to the other. So one thing I'm going to ask the players to do a lot this season is to press way up on teams, match them up, and try and make sure they don't get out of their half. The reason why is because at this age, not very many players can, with limited amounts of time and space, kick a 40-yard ball that just goes over everybody. That's not going to happen. What we need to do is make sure that we're marking them goal side. So here, what I say to Tanner is, get goal side, this ball goes over your head, you're leaving Graham in a lot of trouble. He can go and pressure the guy from here, and we'll be okay. But again, it's so congested. I mean, two players almost running into each other, two players in their team almost running into each other. It's a little bit of a mess. But if the mess is happening at the top of their box, we can take advantage of it. And, Mason does a really good job of just going ahead and having a hit. Right? It's bouncing around all over the place. Someone just go ahead, give it a shot. We're 20 yards out. We can do this. So it's a great start. 3 minutes in, we've got the lead. And for the next 2 minutes, we do a good job of holding on to that control of the game. And then things go sideways, really sideways. And we'll see why. As we progress here, you'll see that when we have the ball, we start to not do as good a job of keeping it. See, simple pass out to a player out wide who can just dribble without a whole ton of pressure more than 20 yards up the field. Find someone in the middle, then we try to switch it to our other winger. It's a good passage of play, and it's all very simple, and it's all spaced out. When Mason got the ball out here on the left and started dribbling down the wing, Sam was not close to him, and neither was Izzy. But finding them one at a time and connecting through to the other side of the field, that's what's going to help us create opportunities and score goals. And just be spaced out better. If we lose it, we're in better positions to get it back.
So remember, every time you play a ball in the box,
and so right there, it's a little giveaway in the midfield, and not a very good pass, and it allows this guy to just start streaking down the line. So this is our first warning of, if we give it away cheaply and just too free, we can get ourselves into trouble. And this is what starts happening, right? The two players trying to juggle the ball, we lose it. Okay? We get it back on the ground, we try to connect again, we lose it. This is a scrap. Who can win the ball? Who can get it away? Who can get a piece of it? We're kicking it into each other because we're double teaming. But we come away with it. And then we lose it again.
Excellent, Izzy!
And so what was, complete control really in the first 5 minutes, right after the 5 minute mark, it just starts to turn into a game of turnovers and who is going to do the best at making use of the ball when they have it.
See how little Mason has having to run right now?
And I'll be clear, neither team is doing a good job of this. They haven't started really well at all, but they grow into the game a little bit. And once again, Mason was open there. We had the ball in the middle. We didn't give ourselves enough space. A pass that Bo had connected, maybe 2 minutes earlier. This time it gets turned over. And we do a good job of defending. When the ball's close and we're able to keep it in front of us, I think we pressure well. I think we try to win it. But the danger, especially in the league we're in, is that people will kick it long. And in that situation, Tanner could have just shielded that ball and let it run out for a throw-in for us, but took a safe option of playing it out. So that sets the stage for them to throw it in there. Here, we win it back. Sam tries to play a ball up to Jordy, misses him by a few yards. And I just said this is how we're going to start getting tired if we consistently give it up. And the goal comes very soon. Ball goes across to a guy who's wide open because we're running back and forth offense and defense. Good little through ball. Not sure if he was onside. I think he was. But it's a goal. And in my mind right now, I'm thinking we just dominated the first 5 minutes of this game. The last two, it got scruffy, and we just gave up a goal. It's like, okay, maybe that's fair, because the first few minutes, we were in their end, but we were also not creating a lot of clear-cut opportunities before before Mason went ahead and took a shot and scored. So I felt this was kind of fair, but now we needed to relax and impose ourselves. And instead, that became a pattern right there, that kind of thing of just sort of getting rid of the ball and being so compact together that it was hard for us to keep it. And also just different decisions, right? Mason and Izzy right there were wide open. A big ball out to the corner, and we're all getting forward. We're getting up, but losing a ball anywhere on the field right now, right after we go, we lose our lead. It changes the tide of the game, and it made this other team more confident. They started doing things and trying to pass the ball around in a way that we weren't. And it was all because of confidence. I mean, this is just confidence. In the first 5 minutes, you saw nothing of this from this team. And I think had we kept the gas on and kept the quality up, we might have stifled this group from the beginning. So it's a little too bad, but there are plenty of positives to come from this. I think this is a really nice passage of play. I think a little more spacing would help us, but look at the decisions they're making to keep the ball. That's a little bit of just a missed kick. That's okay. But if we work together, we can make up for those. I think it's important goalies are basically at the top of their box if the ball's in midfield, because anything over the top I want them to get. I would hate for through balls to just sort of kill us over and over again, because we will be playing teams with fast kids. And if it's a foot race from half field to the goal box against our defenders, there's teams that are going to blow by us. So we need a goalkeeper that can operate in that space and kick the ball out if need be. So this is a hilarious snafu in substitutions. I don't really know what happened, honestly. I thought the referee was aware that we were subbing, players are going on, play starts. Just kind of a, I guess, comedic moment, really.
Go, Cohen, no turn.
So this is good pressure from Cohen. Just slow the guy down, right? And we can all start to pinch in this area. Bogo's closer, and he's able to put in a tackle. You can see how pressure on the ball, it doesn't matter where, it it really does force the other team to either show that they have some quality and some ability to think through a situation and not panic. And it gives us the time as a team to get ourselves organized. And here we're just winning the ball back every time because we're organized. We're set right. I love the idea of the combination play there between Aiden, Luke, and Eamon. So essentially you can see there's a midfield battle going on here in this game. It's between both boxes. That's where all the real stuff is happening. And once it gets to the top of a box, both teams tend to do a decent job of defending it. This is one of those amazing things you'll see a lot this season. Kids that are 6 foot against someone like Tanner. And there's not much we can do about that. Tanner did a really good job of just forcing the guy into really bringing out every tool he had. It's a great save right there. And that was a decent attack by that team. They put us under some pressure. They crossed a couple good balls. But when we get out, we have to try and keep it. And again, it's sort of bouncing ball right into pressure. They get it back. And they're comfortable now, right? They just scored a goal. They just got a couple chances. This method is working for them right now. We have to be able to change the tide. And it's moments like these that can, right? Cohen pressuring the ball. If we can keep it, and if we can maybe switch it and go to the other side, we have a really, really good chance of creating our own opportunity that changes the tide of the game. And you can see Eamon right there in the middle. If we can get him the ball, and he can turn and give it to Jack, who's behind him in the midfield, we send one through to Izzy, who knows what happens. Izzy gets on goal, Izzy is able to get a shot, Izzy gets a corner. And we saw how important it is that if you are controlling, if you're pressing the other team in their end and you're keeping the play close to the other team's goal, you just have a better chance of scoring. So here I'd love us to match them up, one on everybody. I think Luke right there, surrounding himself with 3. Just go and stand on that guy so you can't play it there. And then let's squeeze in here and steal it like we have. And now it's so important we don't lose it. It's so important that when we work hard and do a good job of squeezing the other team, that when we steal it, we understand the value of the work we just did. We force them to give up the ball. Let's keep it. Okay? This happens again. Right? We get the ball. We finally have it. Can someone look up? No, not quite. And it's a few times in a row here. And you hear me saying press, 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 get after them. Because we're going to force a mistake. Spoiler alert, they score in about 10 seconds here. What we need to do is keep the ball here. The throw-in goes to a blue shirt. We sort of win it back. It's an idea crossing into the box, but it's not specifically to anybody. And watch how fast this just goes right in our face. Sean unlucky there because it took a big bounce right before it got to him. But goodness, I mean, it's hard to concede a goal that way. And what I'm telling right here, I'm telling Luke, we have to be a little more careful when we're attacking and we're at the top of the other team's box. If we cross it to basically no one and lose it, the speed of the counterattack that comes at us is hard to stop. And it doesn't take much skill to travel, 70, 80 yards against a team who's only got 2 or 3 guys back and you've got a bunch of speed. That doesn't take skill. We need to force other teams to use skill to beat us, not physicality. If we can be smart enough, we can stop the physicality from working. I think right there, speed definitely got them that goal, but we didn't need to turn it over at the top of their box. We could have been a little more patient, kept it, wait for a good shooting opportunity, a good crossing opportunity, something where someone can put quality into their action, and that will actually get us, get the ball into a spot where they can't just settle it, play it wide, play it over the halfway line, through ball, goal. And I have said many times that is the biggest weakness for us, and it will be the biggest challenge to overcome this season for us to, not struggle, because we will be in a difficult league, which is exciting. I think we can come up with some great ways to compete, but we're going to need to fix the way we transition, and especially what we do when we get the ball in situations like these. How can we have it? Goalie has it in his hands. We should keep it, but it doesn't even land on a white jersey, right? So everything has to be a little more fine-tuned to not lose the ball. I would urge the players to be able to count their turnovers in a game, meaning probably less than 10. If you had more than 10, if you had too many turnovers that you can't count, you had a negative impact on the game. There's no doubt about it. So I think that's important for the boys, to be able to take that much care in each possession that you can actually count the amount of times you lost the ball. I think that would be a really, really wise thing for them. A coach once told me that, and it helped me calm down. It helped me not just go sort of all out, any idea I have, be super impulsive. We've got to be thoughtful as players. And you can see here some beautiful thought. That was an excellent, excellent team move. Great combinations to get through. But I think there Mason sort of panics, kicks the ball. It turns into a scrap. And they don't have the quality to get out of their own end unless we help them. So once again, we have a throw-in. And every single person is just walking closer to the ball. No one's backing away to find space. And that is why it's more likely we turn this over than not. Once again, like I said, if we put this team under pressure, they're not getting out on their own. It's only if we help them. So we get a water break right here. The thing that I was worried about right before this water break was that, once again, the ball was in that corner of the field. Were we set up in a situation where no matter what happens, we can either, if we have the ball, we can find a pass to someone open who has space, who can change the point of attack, or if we lose it, are we in a place where we're able to cut off the most dangerous channel to goal? Meaning right down the middle, right through the center of our defense, or right to the open player who will turn and pass the through ball. And like I said, this is the stuff that's going to be the most important for us this season. We're going to have to work really hard in a lot of games to avoid that being the reason we struggle or are beaten or give up goals. But it's a really good lesson for the players, because if we're going to be high-level players, we have to be all action. We have to be smart in the way we think. We cannot just be playing sort of one step at a time, one play at a time. We have to be able to stop, think, and look around. And so right here, we have a throw-in. You can see Eamon here. He's closest, sort of right smack in the middle of the picture. What I would love for him to do here is back away a few yards from all that traffic. Just back off. Maybe 10 yards even, right? So that he can get the ball and has time. And other people can open up. But because he's not wide open, down the line feels like the only option. And it's not a bad one. That's a good place to go. Right? And this is fine. We get the ball in a dangerous area. Can we press? Can we get something out of it? Here, Eamon makes a good choice to keep possession. Very, very nice idea to try and get through them. I'm fine with that. I don't mind that we want to try and combine to go through the middle. Tanner does a really good job to get involved defensively. finds a teammate. Again, we're trying to get into the danger area. Don't
Mason, keep going,
let
Mason.
them
You're doing excellent,
out.
dude.
Let's just keep this pressure on. If we keep this pressure on, we're bound to score a goal. We cannot let the ball get out of here, though. All right, goalkeeper picks
Good,
it up.
Izzy. Well
What
done,
I tell
Izzy.
central midfielders, holding midfielders, and Eamon is playing that position at this point, is you have to get back to about the top of
Eamon,
the
come on, Eamon,
circle
that's you right there.
every
That
time
ball
the
can't
keeper has the
happen
ball.
again.
And if you see, the player that was standing at the top of the circle got it and played a
That
through
is you,
ball.
man. It's the one guy in between the midfield and the defense, the only one. You can't let him be open.
And that's what I'm saying, Eamon. The one guy between the midfield and the defense, you cannot let him be open. So whoever's playing central holding midfielder for us, the 6, as you will, they cannot be leaving people wide open in that central pocket. If they do, we are likely to concede a lot of goals. So the formation I have the boys playing right now is a 4-1-4-1. So that first, a 4 is the defenders. That 1 is that holding midfielder. And it is so important that they don't get sucked into the attack, just like a mosquito to a light to the ball. If they do, they will be the person, the disjointed link in the entire chain that tends to be the porous area where we can see goals. So unfortunately, the video ends right there, and we actually scored from that free kick. Jack played a great ball across the box, and Mason bundled it into the back post. So uh, I think really, really promising. Ended up losing that game 5-3. We probably shouldn't have, but I think that if the players watch this, they might be able to learn a lot from it. I learn a lot myself, not just about us as a team, but about my own coaching every single time I watch something like this. So self-reflection is important, and I encourage all the boys to do it. Thanks.